Hey, I'm Bob, totally blind since birth and into Star Wars, talking about part 3 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Spoilers abound. Watch the episode before listening to my thoughts, and now I am getting into this horror show that we got this week. So when I mentioned wanting to see a lot of Vader at the end of the part 2 discussion vid, I got what I wanted this week, and boy did I ever get what I wanted. Oh my god. So I like how the episode starts out. Obi-Wan is understandably reeling from the news that has hit him like a ton of bricks. He has been having nightmares of Mustafar, the duel on Mustafar there for about 10 years, I would say. And, I mean, he admitted it to Anakin at the end of Revenge of the Sith. He feels as if he has failed Anakin, and his past has truly come back to haunt him. And he's understandably, I think, shell shocked by it. I mean, he's been shell shocked for the past 10 years. He's lost the only family he ever knew in terms of the Jedi, and now he's thrust back into the galaxy. So it's everything all at once, everything everywhere all at once. Yeah, I know. I'm not thinking of the movie, though. It's just a lot for him to have to process, having been alone for 10 years. Now he's got to deal with Anakin being alive. His nightmares have become reality. And speaking of nightmares, we get to go to Fortress Vader in this episode. I loved it in Vader Immortal, loved seeing it in my own way in Rogue One with the descriptive audio narration tracks. And of course, these tracks are provided in Kenobi, so I love the scene where Vader was suiting up. We get to see those cybernetic limbs affixed to his body. We get to see the armor. We get to see his helmet and breath mask coming down. And man, he is just a man, some would call him a monster, on a mission. Once he gets suited up, he starts talking to Reva, and the first thing he asks is, where is he? And I love his voice in this show. I got serious episodes 4, 5, and 6 Vader vibes. So the descriptive audio narration tracks don't narrate the closing credits, but I'm told that Reese Beecher was credited there. So I don't know how much of James Earl Jones' actual voice they used, or if the whole of Vader's dialogue was fed into the computer, but my God, I love that voice. However they did it, man, I love how he sounds here. And he is just disregarding the Grand Inquisitor. I love when Reva was trying to pin the downfall, quote unquote, of the Grand Inquisitor, because we all know he's going to be back by the end of the show. She's trying to pin that on Kenobi, and Vader's like, the Grand Inquisitor means nothing. This guy doesn't care who falls. He doesn't care who he has to walk over or fling out of his way. He wants Kenobi. And when Darth Vader wants something, you best get the heck out of his way, as we see later on in the episode. Even getting out of his way might not help very much. So, yeah, I love that scene. And, yeah, who knew Vader had a throne, too? Kind of want a 3 3/4 inch Darth Vader's throne from Hasbro. I'd kind of like that, have him on a throne. So then we get to see more of Leia and Ben in this episode, and I love the chemistry between these two. They do land on Mapuzo. I like Freck a little. I mean, he's on the wrong side of things, but as the opening crawl stated in Revenge of the Sith, you got heroes on both sides. Not that Freck is a hero. I think he's a friendly guy, just, not on the right side. I mean, all the stormtroopers love the guy. And so it's kind of cool seeing how friendly some of these guys can be. Seems like a really nice guy, but of course things go to hell very, very quickly. Those probes are launched, and they manage to identify Kenobi, and of course a signal is sent out. So now the Inquisitors know where Kenobi is, and so does Vader. And I like when Tala shows up. She's a really cool character there. But before that, or maybe it's after, I've seen the episode like 4 times now, but one point, probably earlier on in the episode, Kenobi mentions a bit of his past. And he mentions remembering fragments of his life before he was a Jedi. He remembers his mother's shawl in his father's hands, and that he had a baby brother. maybe a brother. I think he says something along the lines of, I might have had a brother. Could have been a sister. We don't know. I'm thinking it's probably a brother. But yeah, I love those little tidbits of Kenobi's past, things that we've never known. And it was just really cool hearing him talking to Leia about how the Jedi were his family. I mean, this is a guy who spent the last 10 years alone, and I mean, he clearly misses his family. The Jedi were everything to him. They're wiped out, hence, why he's so cynical. And I think whenever he snaps at Leia earlier on in the episode about, well, people aren't always good, Leia, of course he is thinking of Anakin. At least that's what I'm thinking. I mean, he's clearly going through some stuff, and she has no idea what the man is dealing with. But I mean, Leia, insightful as she is later in the original trilogy as well, she knows something's going on, but she's not really trying to pry or probe. And I like when they made it to the safe house, and Obi-Wan, he's looking at the graffiti, and of course he says Quinlan was here. And yeah, Quinlan Vos was really cool character in the Clone Wars. If you've read the novel Dark Disciple, you know who this guy is. If you've read the old Republic comic books and legends, you know who he is. If you've seen the Hunt for Zero arc in the Clone Wars animated series, you know who he is. He and Obi-Wan were pretty cool pals together. They were, comfortable together, and Quinlan was just laid back. And when I heard that he's helping younglings escape, I can imagine Quinlan is exactly the guy you would want in a jam, because I imagine the kids are scared, and Quinlan is just a really chill guy, as I hope we'll see in live action at some point. I think he'd be perfect to help younglings escape. He's just got that kind of attitude about him, especially after having been through what he'd been through during the Clone Wars. So cool to know that he's still around. And man, things, when they start hitting the fan, when the Bantha Poodoo hits the fan in this episode, it hits the fan, because we get to see Obi-Wan, and he starts to freak out a bit. Clearly he feels Vader, and I've seen some folks say that, they've nerfed Obi-Wan, they've made him a coward in this episode. I don't think he's fearing for his own life. I think he's afraid for Leia. He's afraid for that new hope that he and Yoda and Bail have tried to cultivate over the past 10 years. He's afraid of Leia being discovered, somehow found out by Anakin, because if Anakin finds out that he has kids that he can taint and corrupt and turn into little Inquisitors, everyone's done. I mean, the new hope rests on the twins. And when Kenobi runs off, and when he says, you lead Leia away, I've got to lead Vader away, you take care of her, he's going to do everything he can to distract Vader, because things are probably very close to breaking down. And yes, Kenobi is afraid, but he's afraid for the galaxy itself if Anakin discovers that he has kids. And I love what we got. Vader just blows through the mining village like a very, very dangerous sandstorm, a certain young boy once mentioned. And he's snapping necks, he's dragging folks across the ground. He is trying to draw Obi-Wan out, because as the Grand Inquisitor states at the beginning of the show, the Jedi Code is like an itch. He cannot help it. And this is, of course, one of the things I think that draws Kenobi out. But of course, he's trying to lead Vader away from Leia too. And that lightsaber duel is brief. It is brutal. But boy, I did love it. Obi-Wan, he hasn't practiced, I would say, for years, and picking up a lightsaber after really not having, handled one for a long time, it's got to be, I don't know if it's just like riding a bike. I don't really know how much training he's done. What's he going to do? Find a stick somewhere and pretend it's a lightsaber? I guess, if he wants to. But, man, that was a really cool, brief duel. And Vader is just toying with him. I love when he ignites that Ventrium, and he's kind of throwing Obi-Wan around in the flames. I don't know how much force control anyone has over fire, but of course Anakin's not going to let him, rather Vader, sorry, is not going to let him suffer. He's just playing with him like a big cat plays with a mouse for a while. He's just getting started. As Vader says, your pain has just begun. And of course then, we get Tala showing up, and Mr. Ned B. I love that droid, even though he doesn't talk. He's pretty cool. We get to see Obi-Wan whisked away to safety, and yeah, we're going to get to see Jabeam in the next couple episodes, the next 3 episodes, I guess. We know about Jabeam from the old Republic comic books. It was a big battle that was fought there. I've only read about it on Wikipedia years and years ago, but pretty cool battle if I remember correctly. So awesome to see Jabeam being made canon. And what else am I forgetting? What a fantastic episode. I love that they made Vader a kind of nightmare creature here. He is straight out of a horror movie. He is just unstoppable. He will mow you down if you get in his way, even if you're not in his way. If you are a means to an end to him, he will use you. And I mean, if he wants to, you're just done. You are just done. So awesome seeing him being such a menacing character here. I loved him in Rogue One. I mean, I've loved him in everything we've seen him in, but boy, he just... I was laughing out loud quite a bit. I wish I could do reaction videos, but there are no key commands for that with my screen reader, but I loved it. I probably shouldn't have been laughing at Vader being Vader. It was just a great episode. And of course, at the end, we get to see Reva finding Leia. So I don't know what's going to happen next. We do know that when Leia meets Vader in episode 4, well, I always got the sense that wasn't the first time. And we do know that she sees him in Legends continuity in the original radio dramas on Routier before episode 4, A New Hope. And we got the sense there that wasn't even the first time those two met. So I'm kind of wanting to see little Leia getting to meet Vader for the first time. I don't know how that's going to go. It might not be such a good idea because I don't know if she'll be able to guard her mind. Of course, I don't know. I don't think Anakin's going to put 2 and 2 together. Of course, Obi-Wan is scared to death, I think, as to what's going to happen if the kids are found out, which is, I think, why he was doing all that evading and, skirting around hills and going this way and going that way, just doing everything he could to lead Vader away from Leia here. But I guess it was to no avail because now Reva has her. And I'm wondering how things are going to go rather for Reva. I don't know if we're going to get to see her turning to the light by the end of the show. If anybody can do it, it's Leia. And we've seen, characters turn from the dark side before. I don't know if I want to see that again, but it's beautiful every time we do see it. And it would be interesting to see more of Reva's past. I don't know how things are going to go. Jedi Master, I think Jedi Master 420, his name is. He did mention Reva being the first face that we see when we do see the younglings in the temple at the very beginning of the show. And if that's the case, I mean, yeah, it would make sense as to why she has a hate on for Kenobi. I don't know. Hopefully, we'll get to see a bit more of her past and flashbacks. I can't wait to see what's ahead. Fantastic episode. And I'm probably going to watch it a couple more times before next Wednesday because I liked it so much. Can't wait to see 4, 5, and 6, the last half of the show. And I will hear you guys in the next video. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. Otherwise, I might have to do a follow-up of this thing. There's just a lot to process here. Till next time, guys. May the Force be with you. Watch out for Vader. And, be sure to pistol whip a Freck if you see him.